Have you ever tried to answer this question honestly? If freedom was already won, why does it still feel supervised? By the end of this story, one thing will become clear. Freedom is almost never taken away. It is quietly redesigned. And once you notice when that redesign happens, you'll start spotting it everywhere. Let's begin where freedom is supposed to start, with celebration. In the late 1700s, the word freedom spread like fire. Crowds filled streets. Bells hung. Declarations were read out loud. New nations were born in a single sentence. People cried. People believed. For a moment, it felt final, like history had closed one chapter forever. But here's the first crack in the story. Freedom was announced publicly. Limits were written privately, and almost no one noticed. Independence documents promised liberty, but they never listed everyone who would receive it. That omission mattered, because while freedom was being celebrated, entire groups were quietly excluded. Enslaved people stayed enslaved. Women stayed voiceless. Native lands stayed occupied. Freedom arrived with footnotes, and the footnotes decided everything. Here's where the pattern begins. Freedom, in history, is rarely denied outright. It is postponed. Those left out were told to wait, to trust the process, to believe their turn would come. That promise calmed resistance. Patience became policy, and patience is one of the most effective tools of control. Now shift locations. Europe, kings fall, crowns rule. Palaces lose power. History teaches this as a clean victory. People overthrow tyranny. Freedom replaces oppression. But watch closely. Power does not disappear. It changes form. Where kings once ruled openly, systems now ruled quietly. Laws replaced orders. Paper replaced chains. Control became legal. And once control is legal, it stops looking like control. It starts looking like order. People were now free citizens. But watched, counted, regulated. Freedom came with instructions. Now let's move again. Africa. Colonial flags come down. New flags rise. Independence days arrive. Crowds dance. Anthems play. Freedom at last. Except something feels off. Borders stay exactly the same. Resources still flow outward. Foreign companies remain. Political control leaves. Economic control stays. The cage door opens. The fence remains. And here's the uncomfortable question. Was freedom actually given? Or was pressure reduced just enough to prevent rebellion? History rarely asks that out loud, because the moment you ask it, celebration turns into examination. And examination makes people uneasy. Now let's pause for a second. At this point, most people reach a conclusion. They think freedom is fake. That's not true. Freedom is real, but it is often incomplete by design. Complete freedom is unpredictable, and systems hate unpredictability. So freedom is delivered in portions. Enough to feel progress, not enough to disrupt power. That balance keeps societies calm, hopeful, patient. But patience has a cost. Now, move forward in time. The 20th century. Wars are fought for freedom. Millions die under that promise. Cities are reduced to rubble. Entire generations disappear. When the wars end, leaders speak again. They promise a free world, a safer future, and people want to believe them. Because after suffering, hope feels necessary. But look at what follows. Borders harden. Surveillance expand. Fear becomes policy. Freedom is now something that must be protected. And protection requires control. Every new restriction is justified as safety. Every loss of privacy is explained as necessary. And questioning it becomes suspicious. Because only dangerous people question freedom's protectors. That's how the language flips. Freedom stops being something you practice. It becomes something you're told you already have. And once you believe that, you stop pushing. This is the quietest trick in history. Convince people the struggle is over, while the structure remains. Now think about this carefully. Why do history books love declarations? Because declarations are loud, clear, hopeful. But what comes after is complicated, messy, hard to explain. So history often stops talking, right when the real story begins. The years after freedom are where expectations collide with reality, where people realize life didn't change the way they imagined. Those moments don't fit clean narratives, so they're shortened, simplified, sometimes erased, but lived experience remembers them. That's why every generation rediscovers the same frustration. They're told freedom was already achieved, yet they feel limits everywhere. That gap creates confusion, and confused people are easier to manage than angry ones. So let's return to the question. Are you free, or are you managed? History won't answer that for you, because history prefers moments over processes. Freedom isn't a date. It isn't a document. It isn't a speech. It's a constant negotiation. And the moment people stop questioning freedom is the moment it quietly begins to shrink. That's the part history hides, not because it's secret, but because it's inconvenient. And once you see it, you'll start noticing something strange. Freedom is always announced loudly. Control arrives silently. And history rarely tells you which one lasts longer. Hit that subscribe button if you know freedom still feels like a cage. See you tomorrow.